40 years back in November 1984, 4,006 were killed in Delhi, the capital of India. The genocide continued unabated for 3 days. Every minute, one Sikh was killed on the streets of Delhi. After the genocide, the guilty were given high positions and they were given the position of power. For 40 years, the victims are still waiting for justice. The cases for the justice to the victims are still continuing even now. I, H.S. Phoolka, a senior advocate, has been handling these cases right from November 1984 onwards. Through this video series, we have made an effort to bring to you how this massacre was planned. It's an effort to take you through the whole entire journey of this 14 years. We are standing at the main gate of Gurudwara Rakabganj Sahib. Gurudwara Rakabganj Sahib is Gurudwara of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, the 9th Guru of Sikhs. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, who gave his sacrifice to save the Hindu community, and in whole of India, rather in whole of world, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib ji is known as that he is the savior of Hindus. His head was beheaded because he protested against the atrocities committed by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb against the Kashmiri Pandits. He was beheaded at Gurudwara Shishganj Sahib in Chandni Chowk, and his body was brought over here by Lakhi Shah Banjara ji, by Lakhi Shah Banjara, and here he was staying here and he cremated the body by burning his own house inside. So this is a very revered Gurudwara, not only by Sikhs, by everybody in India, particularly the Hindus who feel that this Gurudwara is of the Guru who saved the Hindu religion. Now, in 1984 on 1st November, this Gurudwara was attacked. This Rakabganj Sahib Gurudwara was attacked by the mob, and the attack continues almost the whole day. The attack started in the morning, 1st November 1984, the attack started in the morning at about 11 o'clock and it continued till evening at 5 o'clock. Mukhtar Singh is with me. He was employee of the Gurudwara and he was posted in this Gurudwara. These people who were the employees of the Gurudwara, they came out to protect the Gurudwara and to save the Gurudwara from this murderous mobs. And they were fighting with the mob. This fight continued at least for 6-7 hours, not for some time, for 6-7 hours. Now this is the location of this Gurudwara. This is right opposite Parliament House. This is the wall of the Parliament House. This is the area, highly protected area. The mob attacked this Gurudwara for almost the whole day. And the most shameful part is this mob was led by a member of Parliament of Congress who till today is a very senior leader of Congress, Kamal Nath. He later on became the union minister. He later on was rewarded and became the chief minister of Madhya Pradesh. And till today, he is a prominent leader of Congress. The mob here, not only they attacked, they set the Gurudwara Sahib on fire. 2 Sikhs, one old man, he came with the folded hands, came out from this gate. There was a gate over here at that time, with the folded hand to request them that this is the Gurudwara of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib. Why are you setting this Gurudwara on fire? And over here at this spot, the mob caught hold of him and had badly beaten him and set him on fire. His son was standing inside the Gurudwara. The son came running to save his father. They caught hold of both father and son, had badly beaten them and set them on fire over here. Kamal Nath was present here. In in the presence of Kamal Nath, the body of those two, father and son, they were there for almost 2-3 hours. Half-burnt bodies survived, but no steps were taken to take them to hospital. The police force was here in large number. In the presence of the police force, the mob was attacking. Kamal Nath was not asking the police to stop. The Kamal Nath was controlling the mob. The Kamal Nath was asking the mob to attack the Gurudwara, and under his instruction, the Gurudwara was attacked. Mukhtar Singh is a witness to that. And apart from Mukhtar Singh, a journalist, Sanjay Suri, who is the journalist with that time he was with Indian Express, and he was also a witness to that Kamal Nath was leading that mob. On 2nd November 1984, Indian Express on the front page had written the story. Kamal Nath was leading the mob at Gurudwara Rakabganj Sahib, which set the Gurudwara on fire and killed 2 Sikhs burnt. Now, Mukhtar Singh ji will explain that where the Kamal Nath was standing, where the police was there, instead of controlling the mob, they were attacking. And the police, under the instruction of Kamal Nath, was attacking the Sikhs who were saving the Gurudwara. And these people, who were the employees of the Gurudwara, they were determined that they will save Gurudwara, and they will not allow the mob to harm the Gurudwara, and the mob will go over their dead bodies.
जो गुरुद्वारे में हम बचाने के लिए थे 15-20 आदमी थे, तब तो बहुत संगत कम आती थी। तो बाहर ये स्टैंड थे, यहाँ तक का रास्ता था 3 मूर्ति को जाने का, सारी पब्लिक यहीं उतरती थी। इस मॉब को कमल नाथ लीड कर रहा था, और कांग्रेस के बहुत सारे और लीडर भी बाद में सारा दिन यहीं रहे मौजूद, और सिखों के खिलाफ स्लोगन बोलते रहे और मारने की शोर मचाते रहे, और बार बार हम पे अटैक होता रहा।
जो आप जितने लोग थे वो सारे के सारे गुरुद्वारे के एम्प्लॉय थे?
गुरुद्वारे के ज्यादा एम्प्लॉय थे, जहाँ स्टाफ के क्वार्टर थे।
स्टाफ के क्वार्टर
थे, बाहर थे।
कहाँ पे खड़े थे आप?
हम यहीं तक खड़े थे, सामने यहाँ ये गाड़ी खड़ी है।
हाँ, तो मॉब का अटैक कहाँ से हुआ?
मॉब यहाँ एक गेट से एंटर हुआ। यहाँ तब साइकिल स्टैंड होता था।
हाँ।
ये गेट ऐसे नहीं थे, तब तो सिंगल पिलर वाले गेट थे।
हाँ।
छोटी छोटी द्वार थी 4 फुट की।
हाँ।
सब कुछ वैसे नजर आता था। इतना हाई सिक्योरिटी जोन होने के बावजूद, क्योंकि पार्लियामेंट हाउस साथ है, यहाँ हर वक्त हाई सिक्योरिटी रहती है, पुलिस फोर्स बहुत ज़्यादा रहती है, लेकिन पुलिस के सामने ये मॉब जो है हमें मारने के लिए सारा दिन अटैक करता रहा। ये तो गुरु साहब की कृपा, गुरु तेग बहादुर जिन्होंने हिंदू धर्म के लिए अपना बलिदान दिया और धर्म की रक्षा की, उनके गुरुद्वारे को आग लगाने और उनके सिखों को, गुरुद्वारा सिखों का नहीं सबका साझा है, हमारी तो सिर्फ कस्टोडियन है हम इसके लिए, लेकिन हमें मारने के लिए सारा दिन मॉब जो है अटैक करता रहा।
कितना बड़ा मॉब था?
यहाँ ये सड़क जो है इसमें पैर रखने की जगह नहीं थी, इतनी पब्लिक थी।
कमलनाथ कहाँ खड़ा था?
कमलनाथ ये गेट के सामने खड़े थे।
हाँ, उसके बाद अंदर भी आप कहते थे?
अंदर आए, और यहाँ ये स्टाफ क्वार्टर थे जहाँ बोर्ड लगा है। हाँ। इसके पीछे क्वार्टर थे, वहाँ एक गाड़ी को आग लगा दी।
अच्छा। और
जब हमने इधर से रोका तो ये मॉब दूसरे गेट से दर्शन ड्योढ़ी वाले से अंदर गया, अंदर घुसा, और पीछे पेट्रोल पंप के पीछे दीवार इन्होंने गिरा दी, उससे अंदर घुस के गुरुद्वारे को आग लगाने की कोशिश की। लेकिन हम यहाँ से उधर भागे तो तब इधर उन्होंने लोग तोड़फोड़ करनी शुरू कर दी। हमने उधर से रोका, गुरुद्वारे उनको एंटर नहीं होने दिया, लेकिन एक गेट को उन्होंने आग लगाने में वो सफल है, जिसको हमने बजाने में हम उसको बजा के गुरुद्वारे को बचा सके। एक काम जो है सुबह 10:30-11 बजे से शुरू हुआ और शाम 5 बजे तक चलता रहा।
पहले कितनी पुलिस थी बाहर?
पहले पुलिस बहुत थी, सीआरपी और पुलिस बहुत थी सारा दिन। किसी ने कुछ नहीं रोका।
मॉब को रोक रहे थे? नहीं रोकते?
नहीं, किसी ने नहीं रोका, उल्टा हमें वो तो रोक रहे थे। हाँ। हमें मरवाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे।
और कहते ये अंदर भी गोलियां लगी थी जब पुलिस ने
अंदर भी मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ, जो साइन है गोलियां लगी है। हाँ। उनके अभी भी साइन है,
अभी भी वहाँ पे
लेकिन जो है कि बहुत सारी बिल्डिंग, जो बहुत सारा सामान है वो सारा बदल चुका है, तो नए बन गया। एक गुरुद्वारे के द्वार पे 2-3 साइन बचे हैं, बाकी सब जो है वो सामान खत्म हो गया जंगल आके। और
इतनी गोलियां गुरुद्वारा साहब को लगी?
इतनी गोलियां लगी हैं।
कितनी लगी?
गोलियां तो अभी भी 3-4 निशान है। हाँ। जो बाहर बाकी बिल्डिंगों में थे वो तो खत्म हो गया, बहुत सारी गोलियां चली
तो
है।
पुलिस ने कहाँ से, यहाँ से कहाँ से
ये
चलाई?
स्टैंड है, बस का स्टैंड है, जहाँ से सीआरपी वालों ने गोली चलाई है।
अच्छा, वो उधर आपके
हम
ऊपर
पे, हम
और गोली
पे।
वहाँ पे लगी गोली?
गोलियां द्वार पे लगी, क्योंकि यहाँ बिल्डिंग थी पहले, प्रसाद का काउंटर यहाँ था, तो हम उसकी आड़ में रुके हुए थे, तो उन्होंने गोलियां जो चलाई है हमें मारने के लिए।
अच्छा, जो प्रसाद का मतलब यहाँ पे प्रसाद का काउंटर था,
ये प्रसाद का काउंटर और
आप
जोड़ा
उसके
घर यही
पीछे,
था।
आप उसके पीछे छुपे हुए थे?
हाँ, हम
दीवार के पीछे?
दीवार के उनके पीछे थे।
तो वो आपके ऊपर गोलियां चला रहे थे, वो गोलियां जाके गुरुद्वारा साहब को लगी?
मतलब गोली तो इसलिए चला रहे कि डर के अंदर भागेंगे और वो जो है अंदर जाके इनको मार सके और साड़ सके।
हाँ।
ये तो गुरु तेग पातशाह ने, जिन्होंने इतना बड़ा धर्म बचाया, उन्होंने हमें हाथ दे के रख लिया।
और आपके पास क्या थी, कृपाने थी, क्या थे?
हमारे पास तो जो नॉर्मल हमारे गुरुद्वारे में जैसे बरछे कृपाने होती है,
हाँ।
वही थे। एक मैनेजर साहब के घर में एक गन थी, जो बाद में उन्होंने हवा में फायर करके मॉब को रोकने की कोशिश की।
हाँ।
और उन पे भी फिर केस चला, कंवलजीत पे केस चला,
उनको पकड़ लिया उल्टा?
उनको पकड़ लिया उल्टा।
हाँ।
तो ये काम जो है सारा दिन चलता रहा, और यहाँ से मतलब कांग्रेस के लीडर सारा दिन ये कोशिश करते रहे कि बार बार इकट्ठा करके मॉब को अंदर धकेलने की कोशिश करते रहे कि इनको गिनती के सिक्के इनको उठा लो।
कहाँ से जो
और जो यहाँ दो
बेटा जिनको चलाया वो कहाँ से?
ये यहीं तक प्रसाद का काउंटर था, और जोड़े घर के सामने वो बैठे थे। इसमें गेट होता था, जहाँ अब ये शेड बना है, इसमें 2 गेट थे छोटे। वो वहाँ से हाथ जोड़ते हुए गए कि आप गुरु साहब के गुरुद्वारे पे क्यों पथराव कर रहे हो, क्यों इनको आग लगाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो। उनको वहीं पत्थर मार के घेर दिया और आग लगा दी। उनकी बॉडी वहीं जलनी शुरू होगी। उनका जवान बेटा उनको उठाने के लिए गया, उसको भी वहीं मारा। और वो आदमी, दोनों बाप बेटा 2-3 घंटे तड़फते रहे। किसी इतनी फोर्स होने के बावजूद किसी ने उनको हॉस्पिटल नहीं लेके गए, कोई उनको मेडिकल मदद नहीं उनकी की गई, और ना कोई हमारी सुनवाई हुई कि इनको कहीं लेके जा सकें, क्योंकि सारे रास्ते बंद थे। हमारे स्टाफ के आदमी जो गुरुद्वारे से आ रहे थे, उनको भी आग लगा दी थी रास्ते में। वो संजय सूरी जी उनके गवाह हैं।
आप वहाँ दिखा सकते हो यहाँ पे निशान, गोलियों के
जो
निशान?
गोलियों के निशान मैं आपको दिखा सकता हूँ।
आ जाओ, वहाँ ले आओ। वहाँ पे जो वो येलो कलर का ट्रक खड़ा है, वहाँ पे वो उससे आगे वहाँ पे वो स्टैंड था। उस स्टैंड के छत के ऊपर वो सीआरपी वाले और वो पुलिस वाले वहाँ पे खड़े थे, वहाँ से गोली चला रहे थे। ये यहाँ पे बोर्ड लगा हुआ है, ये होलोग्राफिक ब्लू कलर का होलोग्राफ ऑडिटोरियम वाला, यहाँ पे प्रसाद का काउंटर था। इस काउंटर की दीवार थी, उस दीवार के पीछे ये सभी जो सिख, जो गुरुद्वारे के एम्प्लॉइज़ जो गुरुद्वारा साहब को डिफेंड कर रहे थे, वो थे। उधर से वो गोली चला रहे थे, गोलियां सीधी जहां लगी, ये गोली का निशान है। हाँ, ये गोली का निशान है। बाकी उसके बाद, हाँ, ये गोली का निशान है। बाकी उसके बाद यहाँ पे रेनोवेशन हो गई। रेनोवेशन के बाद बाकी निशान नहीं रहे। और निशान कहाँ कहाँ हैं जी? वहाँ भी निशान हैं।
अब तो यहाँ वो जो शहीद हुए उनके याद में एक दीवार भी बनाई गई है।
In Gurudwara Rakabganj Sahib, this is a memorial which has been made in memory of those who are killed in this 1984 genocide. You see this memorial. This is 84 के शहीदों ਨੂੰ समर्पित in literature in Punjabi. Now this is dedicated in dedication to those six, their respective families and the children who were killed in 1984 genocide. Dedicated to the martyrs of 1984. Now you see there are some pictures, the actual pictures of that time. Now this is a picture, this was taken by a journalist Wahi in the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in front of INA Market. Now see, this is a bus. The mob stopped the bus, took out a Sikh and started beating him. They have held him from the hairs and beating him. He has 2 packets of these vegetables in his hand and they are beating him badly. And every person in this picture can be identified easily. But still no case has been registered, nothing has been done, no action has been taken against them. Now you see, this is the scene. This is the scene of Connaught Place area. A car is set on fire in the Connaught Place. Connaught Place is the downtown of Delhi, and this is happening in the downtown of Delhi. This is the scene of at Kampakola factory. The Campa factory is also very close to Connaught Place. And you see the factory is set on fire and the trucks are set on fire. This is happening over there. This is the scene of Paharganj area, which is also in central Delhi. And in this area, this was the shop, Sani Paints. 4 brothers were burnt alive in this shop only. 4 brothers were burnt alive. Now this mob came and attacked this shop. These 4 brothers were inside. They had a revolver in hand. They started firing. Mob ran away. There was police behind the mob over here. We had affidavits which we have filed before the commission. Police was behind the mob, and the police told the mob that they have only 1 revolver. They will have only 6 shots. You go ahead and kill them. Ultimately, they picked up some spirit from the paint shop and set it on fire and threw it inside. All 4 brothers were roasted alive inside this shop. Now you see this is the Connaught Place area. Which is the downtown of Delhi. This is Marina Hotel in the Connaught Place. Again a downtown of Delhi. This is what's happening. This is the escort of the president in president bodyguard. When president on 31st October, when president reached All India Institute of Medical Sciences, that car of the president was attacked. The window panes of the president's car was broken and his bodyguard was attacked. Now you see he is injured. Now this has happened. Even the president of India was not safe. This is what was happening. This is a scene from Trilokpuri. And these are the names. These are the names of the people who were killed in Delhi. You see all these names are written who are killed from Delhi. And this is in Rajouri Garden, Baljit Kaur, Manjeet Singh, Titu Singh, and like this in Ramnagar, Bhupinder Singh, Harinagar, and these are all the names with the details. You carry on like this. This whole wall is of the names of the Sikhs who are killed in 3 days in Delhi. And can you imagine this is happening in Delhi, in the capital of largest democracy of the world? 1 Sikh was killed every minute in these 3 days. Look at it, it's difficult even to read these names, but they killed all of them, And that is the wall which is of the other cities. Kanpur, Bokaro, Indore, and that is of the other cities. But main massacre took place in Delhi, and this is what you can see over here. This is what happened. And this is what was happening. It is shameful. It's so shameful. This is what you can see, the shame of this government. And this was done at the behest of the government, at the best of intelligence agencies of the government of India.
ये गुरुद्वारा रकाबगंज साहब की दर्शनी ड्योढ़ी का गेट है। 1 नवंबर 1984 को जो मॉब था इस गेट से भी एंटर हुआ, और ये मेरे पीछे जो पत्थर दिखाई दे रहे हैं यहाँ तब फुहारे थे, और इनके दोनों साइड से ये मेरी सज्जे पासे जो बिल्डिंग नई बन गई है वहाँ कुआं है, कुआं दिखाते हैं आपको। ये जो पीछे वाली दीवार जहाँ बिल्डिंग दिखाई दे रही है, ये पूरी दीवार उन्होंने धक्का मार के घेर दी थी, और जहाँ कम से कम 300-400 आदमी मॉब का यहाँ तक एंटर हो गया था। हम यहीं खड़े थे जहाँ उन्होंने पीछे से आके हम पे पत्थर मारने शुरू किए। जब हमने घूम के उनको तलवारों से डराया तब वो पीछे भागे जहाँ तक मॉब आया। और ये जो सामने गेट है, इसको जो पर्दे लगे थे गेटों के, उनको उन्होंने आग लगा दी। आग लगाने की कोशिश की, दरवाजे को तो आग नहीं लगी, लेकिन पर्दे जो है वो जल गए। और गुरुद्वारा स्टाफ में जो सेवादार थे उन्होंने वो आग को कंट्रोल किया। यहाँ तक मॉब जो है वो एंटर हुआ, और ये काम सुबह से लेके 11 बजे से लेके 11:15 से शाम 4, साढ़े 4, 5 बजे तक, जब तक हमें आके पुलिस उठा के नहीं लेगी। उल्टा हुआ क्या कि मॉब को रोकने की बजाय पुलिस की 15 गाड़ियां यहाँ अंदर घूमी शाम को, और हमें उन्होंने वार्न किया कि जैसे हम वहीं खड़े हो जाएं, हम स्टैचू बन जाएं। वहीं से हमें सबको इकट्ठा करके लखीजा मंजारा हाल में खड़ के सबको, स्टाफ को, सारे बच्चों को, जो जितने भी लोग थे उनको तुगलक रोड थाने ले गए और पूरी रात वहीं रखा। अगले नेक्स्ट डे 2 तारीख को शाम को उनको तुगलक रोड थाने से छोड़ा गया। इतना हाई सिक्योरिटी जोन होने के बावजूद यहाँ तक एक आदमी को बचाने के लिए या सुनने के लिए नहीं आया। और धन धन गुरु तेपर पातशाह जी का शुक्राना है जिन्होंने आज तक हमें बचा के और अपने सिखों को अपने स्थानों को आप सेव किया। और इसका इंसाफ अभी तक 40 साल में नहीं मिला है और ना को सुनवाई है। यहाँ 2 सिख श्रद्धालु मारे गए, जिंदा साड़े गए, उनको कोई मेडिकल सुविधा नहीं दी गई, उनको कोई हॉस्पिटल नहीं लेके गया। पार्लियामेंट हाउस साथ है, सेंट्रल सेक्रेटरीट साथ है, राष्ट्रपति भवन साथ, 200 मीटर में राष्ट्रपति भवन है साथ में, लेकिन यहाँ तक कोई सुनने वाला नहीं आया।
We are now joined by Mr. Sanjay Suri, who during the 84 anti-Sikh violence in Delhi was the crime reporter for the Indian Express and is currently political editor of CNN News 18 in Europe. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, and thank you for finding time to speak with me and thinking of doing so.
Not at all, sir. And thank you so much for helping us archive or build an oral history archive around 84 and its aftermath. I wanted to begin by asking for your recollections on the day of 31st October 84 itself, when Mrs. Indira Gandhi was assassinated.
You know, it's been 40 years, and some memories are like it happened yesterday. I remember I was at breakfast at home in Malviya Nagar in South Delhi. And this was in the morning, about 9, sometime around then. And I had a call from a police officer I knew. He said, "Pata kar, Indra nu goli vajji hai." The world changed then on. Of course, that morning, as the crime reporter, I had to try and piece together a story on what happened on the assassination. And through the friends and contacts I had in the police, I pieced together that information. A lot was not readily available. There were no formal public announcements from the police. So I was on that day preoccupied with putting together the story of the assassination, which of course was reported in the Indian Express the following morning. I used to ride my little scooter to go about my assignments. I stepped out of the house and all I saw was columns of smoke rising into the sky. I called the police press office. There was no response. There was going to be no response that day or in the days following. There was going to be no word from the police. We would only later discover why. But there was nothing to go by. I called various police officers. I just couldn't get through to them. There was absolute dead silence from the police. All I could see was that there were these columns of smoke rising into the sky. So I did what I could think best. In the distance, I could see a particularly thick column, and I rode my scooter in that direction. And that's how basic it was. As basic a guide as that to the reporting I would do through the day. It turned out to be the Guru Har Krishan Public School building in Vasant Vihar. It was on fire when I reached, and there were these heavy columns of smoke, not just from that building, but from all over the place. The whole sky was absolutely erupting with columns of smoke. Then on, there was nothing to go by, but I did speak to some people along the way, and they said that there is a problem at Rakabganj. There was no political source, there was no police source for that information. It was people Clearly, there were people on the move. They seemed to know what was going on, and they shared that with me. So then I went to Rakabganj Gurudwara. This was on the 1st, and I had started out in the morning, so it would have been sometime afternoonish that I reached Rakabganj. I saw there that there was a huge crowd on the road outside Rakabganj, and it was being controlled by Kamal Nath, a Congress member of Parliament. There was in the compound of that building, there was fire. There was a fire arising from heaps on the ground. I asked people what had happened. They said 2 Sikhs have been burnt alive. I was on the road outside Rakabganj Gurudwara. Kamal Nath was in complete charge of that crowd. I came face to face with him as a reporter, and seeing me, he made a small gesture. There was a group of people by his side. They were moving in a certain direction, and he raised his hand and they stopped. That little detail is important. Among other things, in my report in the Express the following morning, I included that reference as well. I was there as a reporter trying to do as professional a job as I could. I was not out to nail the Congress party or to absolve the Congress party. I had no view on that. I was not approaching Kamal Nath from a position of hostility. I was not out to defend him. I was trying to report this photographically. The facts were clear. Kamal Nath was there in complete charge of that crowd. That crowd had burnt 2 Sikhs alive right there. How often would you expect a stranger who's a nobody to walk in from the next street, raise a hand, and everybody stops? There had to be a relationship between that mob and Kamal Nath for that one little gesture. The other fact that stared everyone in the face, it did me, was there was a police force present. It was a CRPF force. They were in full riot gear. They had this bamboo shield. They wore helmets. They held sticks. And they stood in a neat formation by the side of that road across from the Gurudwara, facing the Gurudwara. They were watching this mob without any move made to stop them or to restrain anyone in that mob. They were under charge of Gautam Kaul. He was the additional commissioner of police, New Delhi range. So 3 districts within the Delhi police fell under his charge. And he just stood there. He didn't just stand there all the time. And I'm narrating to you what I saw from a distance of a few yards. At one point, this crowd surged forward again. 2 things happened. This time, if we are talking about moments and every moment speaking for itself, there was no move that I saw from Kamal Nath to restrain that mob. And what did Gautam Kaul do as the top officer in charge of the police force present? He scampered to a side. He ran from these people. This is the top police officer at that scene. He ran from just a few people running forward in his direction. This was the kind of cowardice, or do you want to call it complicity, evident on the streets at that time, right across from Rakabganj. This was what I saw of policing. What I did not know at that time was that this was going to be representative of such a massive collapse in policing. I had no idea about the scale of the killings that was going to begin and that had already begun. We had no word from the police. There was no other source. It was just from an individual wandering about, guided by what information one could find from people here and there, that I had come to Rakabganj. I had no idea of the scale of this. It is only in retrospect that I could see that the police never were going to stop these people, and that it was not going to be about two. I was in a state of shock that two Sikhs had been burnt alive, two people burnt alive. How shocking, how unbelievable is that? And then, you just run out of adjectives, you run out of speech when you think of the scale and you confront the scale of what happened. So that was my assignment at Rakabganj. It was not an assignment from the office, it's what I found as I wandered along. I reported this. It appeared, of course, in the Indian Express that morning, my report. Uh, After the Mishra Commission was appointed the following year, I turned this report into an affidavit out of a sense of public responsibility that I had done my job as a reporter, but also as a citizen. I was eyewitness and I wanted to contribute to any process that declared it is set out to get at the truth and to deliver justice. I had no idea, of course, when I delivered the affidavit and I submitted it, how very distorted the Mishra Commission proceedings were going to be.
Would you be able to speak a bit about the accounts of sexual violence that you encountered while you were reporting during those days?
This was in Trilokpuri. This was a very elderly Sikh gentleman. He offered me tea, and there was a lady inside. She went to make tea, and he said, "ਐ ਮੇਰੀ ਧੀ ਏ, ਇਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ 25-30 ਬੰਦੇ ਛੜੇ ਸੀ." What do you do? It was widespread. It happened in Sultanpuri, perhaps the closest experience I've had to nearing death. I'm not trying to be melodramatic about this. That was the day I had driven to Sultanpuri with 3 colleagues, one from the Hindi newspaper and Sevanti Nainan, perhaps you know, is a very fine journalist. She was with us in the car. And there were about 10 or 12, maybe 15 men who stopped us, all wearing white kurta pajamas. I came back later and I verified from the residents there, these were all members of the Congress party, all of them Congress I workers. They stopped us, they said, "There's nothing happened here, go back." And behind them, I saw somebody in the distance putting his hand out of a door and waving. So I said, "Okay, we'll go back. But I need to turn the car around. It was too narrow to reverse." So in fact, I drove on and I drove on to that house. And it was a Sikh who had cut his hair. He was quivering, he was shaking. He says, "These people," and he also said, "these are all from the Congress party. They have killed at least 150 in the street. Some of us are still left. They're coming back to kill us. Do something." I turned the car around. And again, when I came back, there were these people in the street. They could see that I had spoken with someone. They could see that their claim that all was well wouldn't stand. It didn't stand anymore. They attacked us. They attacked the car. One person, he grabbed me and he grabbed my shirt, tore my shirt. I had my little reporter notebook in the pocket. He tried to grab it. And then another person from the other side opened the door, and Sevanti was sitting there. And at that point, I just said, I don't care. I need to get out of that. I sort of engaged the gear of the car and I ran. And I know that these people saw that I was not going to stop. One person tried to come up and from this and try to stop him. And I hit him from the side. It didn't knock him down, but the car sort of scraped past him, and certainly the side view mirror did. And we just got out of there. The minute we reached the office, there was no telephone call we could use anywhere along the way. Everything was shut. The office, we wanted to call somebody, do something, that these people are facing killing. Somebody needs to move fast. Who could we call? Who do you call? The police? There was no police. There was no policing in Delhi, except in bits and bobs here and there. I got through to a senior officer I knew finally. I said, look, this is an immediate danger. People's lives are at risk. This is what I've seen. He said, look, I'm going to put the phone down because I need to move quickly on this. I'm going to see that the army gets there. I couldn't go back to see if the army got there. It was late in the evening. I subsequently called him. Did the army go there? He said it did. Whether it was in time to save them, how shocking, how unbelievable it is, I still don't know. We could go on and on and on. I've done a full book on it, and there's a new second edition coming out. That might interest you. There might be things in it that you haven't encountered. And
Thank you so much, sir.
my last thought in it is I'm very glad, I'm particularly thankful to you for making such a record of it as you do, because those of us who are in it now are close to passing away. It's good to get us before it's too late.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and for being so generous with your time. Thank you.